This brand is called In The Lab, and they started off as a basketball company. So they've got a really cool, unique product in that space. In fact, it's silent basketball. So it works really well. They have a large following on Instagram, both the branded page and the founders page. But they are looking to grow the business, and they've recently expanded kind of into other product lines, so clothing in this kind of anime manga space, and other sports products too. But today, I'm going to talk you through the launch strategy that we employed last week for those guys. So it is currently today, the 5th of February. And as you can see on this Klaviyo dashboard, the time period we're looking at is the prior 7 days. So you can see they've done just over 100K in revenue, and nearly half of that coming from email. So $60,000 coming from email marketing over the prior 7 days. Now, how did they do that? Well, it's a drop strategy that we helped them implement, and it was for the release of one of their kind of coveted silent basketballs. So if you look at the percentage increases of revenue over the week before, you're looking at multiple thousands in terms of percentage increases. So it's a massive uplift that they get when they implement this drop strategy that I'm going to talk you through now. And you can see that the majority of this revenue, over 60%, nearly 2/3, is coming from the campaigns or the newsletter blasts, and just over a third coming from flows. So normally it's the other way around, but you can see here in the past week we've had a really strong week with campaigns, and I'm going to run you through the strategy of what we implemented for them. So as I said, they had this product that's really hot. They had that come in and be launched around the 30th of January. So 30th, 31st was the drop. We sent 2 emails, and you can see this is email 1, 12K in revenue, and this is email 2, 15K in revenue. So 2 emails drove the majority of that email revenue. Well, not quite the majority, but a good chunk of that email revenue. And it's a pretty simple strategy that we kind of implemented for these guys. Yes, there were other sends apart from this, and each kind of email that I'm showing you here is just one of the segments that we sent it to. There were other groups in that, and I'll talk through that in a minute. But essentially, it's just 2 email campaigns that generated that revenue. So email 1, this one, ahead of time, we're sending out a message basically warning people that the drop is coming. So it's a super simple, what we call hero image only email. There is some other text underneath this, but it's only a couple of sentences, and there's nothing else on the email. So we're just basically telling people, in this first email, beware, the drop is coming. We know this is what you've been waiting for, and have set your clocks for this time, and then come back to the site and order it. So that gets a super high engagement rate, 50% opens, 5% clicks. People love this stuff. Keep it simple and keep it in front of the right people. So we went to a number of different audiences with this. We started off with the most engaged via site and email. And then what we did is we created other segments of people that purchased at the other times when this product was dropped. So that's kind of the next audience in line in terms of who we want to target with these drops, is people that have bought from drops before. We then went wider again, and we went anyone that's purchased from this business in 6 months, then a year, then we said, has purchased from this business over all time, and then we went to the full list. So those were all the different groups we targeted with this initial message. We then followed up when the product was live, and as you can see here, this drove more revenue, around the same kind of click rate of around 5%, nearly a 1% placed order rate. The purpose of this message is to let everyone know that the product is back in stock. Again, this is a super simple email that we sent for these guys. Hero image only, so it's a super simple block with some text underneath. We're saying that it's back for a limited time. So we've got a limited quantity that we, once they sell out, they're not coming back. And we sent this to fewer groups of people than the first email. So the first email was to get engagement. And then what we're doing with this second email is we're targeting people that click the link, opened the email, and kind of showed engagement. And then we also went wider than that to everyone that's purchased in the past year to see if they'd be interested in purchasing again. So that's what we did there. And as you can see, 27K in revenue across 2 or 3 days, coming from 2 emails sent to a group of, probably 7 different segments overall. But that drove an amazing amount of revenue for these guys, and is a really cool launch strategy that doesn't involve pestering your full list, multiple weeks in advance and all this kind of stuff. Very simple, very straightforward, to the point. In a couple of days, you can drive insane amounts of revenue with a few emails targeting the right segments. So I hope you found this useful. And as I said in the intro, if you're potentially running a store that operates like this, you're a clothing business, you've got a much sought after product, and you want to launch it via drops, you don't want to be spending loads on paid ads, you want to leverage email, you want to leverage your organic social media, then click the link in the description below this video, book in a time to speak with me, and we'll see if we can implement some results like this for your business. Thank you.